Let's talk about the mount position. We did all these takedowns. I got my partner to the ground. Now I've got to do something with him. Fall overhead towards camera, please. The first position that I would like to start with for Jiu-Jitsu 101, a self-defense oriented system, is I want to get into our mount position. So I put Mr. Peter on the ground, would very much so like to be here. Now, if Mr. Peter is just here, it's very easy for me to grab both of his wrists. I'll put some weight in and I can hold him, call for help, whatever needs to happen. If he's still fighting me, or if I need to control the situation further, we're gonna start going into trying to get a reaction out of Mr. Peter. I'm gonna do this with some ground and pound. Really easy stuff, guys. I'm going to make sure I'm sitting up. Touch my nose. He's gonna have a hard time touching my nose. I, on the other hand, can very easily touch his nose. When we translate this to punches, this is to remind you that I need to have an upright posture. If I'm down here, he has the ability to hit me back. It's not gonna hurt as much as what I can do to him, but I would still like to minimize that. From here, we have straight punches. We have punches to the side. And if he starts trying to control my hands, I can fold my elbows and we can land on the face here. I'm gonna keep doing this until Mr. Peter gives up or until he gives me a reaction. Two reactions you can have. The first one he's already doing, go ahead and turn. Doesn't like being punched in the face, so he turns the face. If we get a turned opponent from ground and pound and mount, we're going to go RNC. Take my hand, I'm going to dig under the chin till my elbow is under his neck. I'm going to go hand and bicep, hand and shoulder. Now I don't want to stop here. I'm going to use my weight to further flatten out Mr. Peter. At this point I squeeze and we'll put our opponent to sleep. Again, the grip that I'm doing there, I'm going hand and bicep, hand and shoulder, squeeze. Once more for the RNC. Ground and pound. He decides he doesn't want this anymore. He decides to roll. I let him roll. Dive my hand deep under the chin. Hand and bicep, hand and shoulder. Don't be happy here. Flatten him. Put his chest to the ground. Put your chest to his back. I squeeze. After about 6 seconds, Mr. Peter will go to sleep, or they can always choose to submit. The other option that we will have is our arm bar. If I start hitting Mr. Peter and he gives me extended arms, whether trying to hit back or shield or push me off, I'm going to lace. One goes over, one goes under. And we're gonna put it in his chest here. The one that's over is the side that my hips are going to. So because this arm is over, I will jump to this side here. Notice this S mount that I have. My knee is bracketing his head with my heel. This is called an S mount because of the shape my feet make. At this point, I will keep this arm. I will take my other hand, I will put it down. And the further I lean towards the legs, the easier it will be for this leg to come over. At this point, I squeeze my knees, I pull his hand, I push my hips through his elbow to break it. I can also, of course, fall off and finish this way. Once more for the armbar. Ground and pound. Mr. Peter starts pushing or shielding. CPR. Because this arm is over, I will jump to this side. I lean towards the legs. The further you lean, the less flexible you have to be. I can finish here, pushing my hips through the elbow, or I can fall off and pull the elbow to my chest for the finish. Thank you, Mr. Peter. So, our ultimate goal off our takedowns is to get to mount. From mount, we've got our strikes. From the strikes, the two most common options we will run into are they will turn away, in which case we dive the hand under, we start attacking our RNC choke, or they will try to shield, fight back, push off, in which case CPR to the chest, we will jump to S mount and finish an armbar.